How are you doing? Do you need a bit more time? Are you there? Great. Okay, maybe we're okay? How's it? Yes, ready? So thank you everyone. You've done the most difficult part, as I was explaining. We appreciate it. So we wanted to put, everything in your face, just to bring the full content to you prior to the discussion. So appreciate your patience on this. We are now going to discuss each piece separately and specifically. So I'm inviting you now to turn on to the first page, which is about the manifesto, right? And here is now, here's the time for us to comment this. So specifically on the manifesto, of course, without reading it again, just keeping it, under your eyes, but not reading it again. What stands out, right? What do you remember from it that you thought was interesting and that you'd want to keep in mind on that manifesto?
Ethics, integrity.
Yeah.
Yes.
Integrity, history.
And the heritage to build the future, I think it's a good one.
The integrity,
to use our heritage to help to build the future,
Yes, the heritage.
To stay true to who we are and not try to do something for.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Creating an exceptional experience for our clients through
Yeah.
technology.
Yeah. What else do you keep in mind? Specifically about the manifesto, huh?
That you mean that we should put in our manifesto?
Yeah, so on that page, yes, exactly.
Okay.
It's really the manifesto, what you keep in mind, what stands out, about those 4 topics that would constitute it.
We do things because we believe they are right, not because they are seen to be. It's important because it shows that we have a vision. And we are not as many brands try to follow the trend and grab what can be grabbed.
Right. So that means you have your own convictions and you have a vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's, a clear commitment to the quality and beauty of our products and the client. It's pretty clear.
Yes. Yeah.
And paying attention to new possibilities, which means, to keep in mind that we have to invest in the future. So, new collections, digital, this is something that should be clear in mind to the maison, not only.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. What were you feeling when you discovered this page? How did you react inside?
You feel good about it. Yeah, it feels like all the right things. It's aspirational. It's positive. It's
positive, aspirational. Feel good. What does it mean?
I was a little torn.
Torn.
Conflicted. Yeah. because I agree with those comments about the positivity but I was a little honestly struggling with just how it's expressed, which I feel is a little irrelevant to our society.
Tell me more, what do you mean?
Maybe it's just the phraseology within the paragraphs.
Yes.
I really like the content, everything that people spoke about, but I found it was, well, maybe the word that comes to mind for me is a little foreign, actually.
Okay,
I think that there's a difference also between, and I agree with you, Larry, on aspirational, but on the other side of aspirational is this really reflective of what we're doing
Right.
on a day-to-day basis?
And it's not.
I use the bad marker, if you will, on the first, before I use the good marker. And, we think beyond today. Our heritage helps us write our future. Everything, which is underlined with this one, we do is to expand our maison's history and savoir-faire. It's just not the case.
No.
So I think some of the verbiage throughout sort of caught me a little bit off guard, because and maybe I'm a glass half empty kind of guy, which I am, but I do think that not everything that we do does that.
So it's difficult. What are you trying to tell me? It's
That it might be a little bit over the top, to Stuart's point. Some of the words, some of the verbiage isn't a true reflection, really, of where we're at.
Yeah.
And one thing is the verbiage, and one thing is the actual idea, right? So,
Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
And
It's great to see it.
Ideally, yes.
It's great to
but
see it on
reality is
paper.
different.
Yeah,
I
it's
agree
great to see it on paper, and yes, this is something we can aspire
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
That's
But
what
the reality is different.
It's different.
Completely.
Yeah.
I think it's missing the honesty of where we are right now versus where we want to be.
Mhm.
And you almost need to say it somewhere that we know that we have still a lot of work to make it, but that's what we aspire to
Yeah.
achieve.
Okay.
Instead of everything we do, maybe we try to, or it is our goal to
Yeah.
accomplish X or Y or
Yeah,
whatever.
it's a humility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little over the top for me.
Yeah.
It's also funny, if I may, when we see behaviors. We perform, never for sale. I mean, this is...
It's funny that you said humility, because I think, to me, it read very arrogant in a way. And I think a really good manifesto should be something that we as a team all rally around, but should also feel equally confident putting in front of our customers, because our customers should feel the manifesto, regardless of brand or who they're talking to. And I don't know if to me it seems a little out of touch, and probably reads in my mind
Yeah.
a little arrogant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked a lot of words. I mean, there's a lot of yellow.
Yeah.
But the way it's put together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what I was trying to get to when I said
Yeah.
I was conflicted actually
Yeah.
on it,
Yeah.
because and as I thought about it and listening to the conversation here, I actually think part of the issue is there's actually too much in there. And maybe there are some things in here that we would probably all say, yeah, that's really, when we are our best selves, that's who we are, particularly about the history, heritage, and vision for the future,
Yes.
the exceptional craftsmanship.
Yeah.
Those things that really differentiate us.
They happen.
And then there are some other things in there
Yeah,
that feel like we're trying to fit it all in.
I agree.
Yeah, super.
I see the sentence here that we use digital to craft the exceptional services our clients deserve. Should
No.
digital be part of our manifesto? I mean, digital is a means to reach something, right? I mean, we want to reach the exceptional service to our clients. So to mention digital specifically here, I mean, what are we trying to achieve here? Attract the younger crowd to work for us? I don't know, but
It's a buzzword.
yeah, it
It's a
sounds
buzzword.
to me more like
Yeah.
a buzzword than
But
anything
we are
else.
very far
And
from
quite
it.
frankly, I mean, I don't know, what is the target audience here? To be displayed on our website, or for attract employees, or to our clients? Because for our clients, it doesn't say anything,
Got it.
right? I mean,
Okay.
this is
So,
a means to get with.
right. And we'll go piece by piece. I want to continue with your overall reaction to this first. I want to ask, if you wanted to explain to a colleague, we'll build on what you said. If you wanted to explain to a colleague what this manifesto is about, what would you say? Just, overall.
This one or the one that we envisioned?
Manifesto. Well, that's the next question.
I think that
This
there is,
one.
I think that there is a big difference in the way that Richemont is perceived by region. So maybe in Europe, and for those of us who have been around for a long period of time, and maybe for those of us who have worked in this market or this region as well as other regions,
Yes.
the name Richemont in Europe means one thing. It means a heck of a lot less here. Now the brands mean a great deal here. There's no question. But there is no sense of heritage as far as Richemont is concerned here. And if I go to a dinner or a cocktail party with non-players, and, oh, Scott, where do you work? Well, I work for Richemont North America. Well, what's that?
Yes.
You know? And sometimes when it comes to dealing with vendors and maybe buying power and things like that, here in the States, you have to explain who Richemont is. Oh, yes, you're Cartier, or oh, yes, you're Van Cleef, or oh, yes,
But the same
whatever.
in Europe. Huh?
But if you say in Switzerland, I work for Richemont, well, they're carrying your bags and you got the red carpet, the whole thing. But it's a different vibe here, and I think that you'll find that from region to region to region.
Right.
So to your point, I think it does come off to us as Richemont North America, if you will, a little arrogant and not reflective of the reality.
Okay.
And it totally can be counterproductive if we start to say things that people do not think we are. And today, that's really the case on most of the market. We present ourselves as very agile and, I don't know, understanding and with lots of empathy. That's not at all how people see us, unfortunately. If we start to say we are that, it will be very counterproductive.
Okay. Describe me, imagine I haven't read it, and imagine you're describing the content of this manifesto to me. How would you summarize it to me? Or to one of your customers, or to one of your colleagues?
Our manifesto, as written, is extremely ambitious and one that we're striving for but are not yet there.
Okay.
I think the concepts, are positive.
What are
I think
without reading, what are the topics? What
A
are the
recognition
topics?
of creativity and craftsmanship.
the heritage, ethics, doing the right thing, building a good experience for our clients, all things that we find important here. I think we were all in agreement that in terms of degrees of achievement of those things, we're not fully there.
Right.
So the packaging of this, although it's positive at a high level, we all agree that we're not there on all these things, and we would describe it differently if this thing were going out to the public, right?
Yes. So let me push you a little bit on this. Are you raising concerns or question marks regarding the tone and the actual words? But you say you agree with the values and the ideas, yes? Or are there some gaps, issues with the content itself as well?
I think we agree with the content, but we have to underline the gap between the reality, the actual situation.
And the tone, too. I think we're all in agreement that the tone was a little heavy-handed and somewhat arrogant. And
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I just ask, what's the objective? Is this manifesto a long-term vision of where we want to go, or is it really assessing where we are today?
Because we're not there. So
And where does this appear? Like at the end game, where does this go? Like when we all agree, I assume at some point we'll have a manifesto or a mission statement. Not sure how we're going to refer to that, but at some point that goes somewhere, right? Where it's a written word somewhere where people can see it.
Yeah.
What is the end game for this?
The mission statement should be 1 to 2 sentences max. If you want people to remember it, there's no way. It's going to read too much.
Is it a mission statement, though?
That's not clear. Yeah, it's not clear. Like what's
Yeah,
Oh.
because when you think about, I actually highlighted the word manifesto.
Yeah, that's a negative connotation.
Yeah, no.
The kind of political or whatever.
A word I would never use.
connotation of the
Okay.
word. But
Certainly not
Ever.
But I think that the intent behind it is, and how I would describe it, if someone said, like, what is this thing? I think it's attempting to be, what are we about as a company? like at our core, what are the things that we are most truly make us who we are, that we would never want to compromise on, that are what we're going to build the future on. But I actually agree with the comment, and matter of fact, I was one who raised it about just there's too much in there. So when you actually ask, well, what is it and what's in there without looking at the page, I still come back to the very first things that people said here, which is it's about our heritage, it's about the truly exceptional. I mean, everyone can say craftsmanship, but we are really at the top craftsmanship and artistry, and I think it's about that. Because when you ask these questions as you're going through, how much of this really differentiates us from others? Those things are the things that I feel like are the core of who we are. And then there's a whole lot of other stuff in there, which
I think is what we want to get to.
Mhm.
We know about how great our brands are and the products that we developed and committed to the client, but as Richemont, what else are we, right? I think that's what we're trying to get to, right?
This has a foot in the future, though. I mean, it talks about creating emotions, and it talks about creating experience. So I think it has a foot in both camps, right? It's recognizing all of the expertise and everything, but it kind of lays out to some degree, playing on what the future has in store and what we feel we can bring to that future. I mean, from a digital perspective to an experience perspective, technology, etc.
Okay. Yeah.
But it kind of feels like anybody can say it.
Well,
Yeah.
that's why, like you, I had a lot of blue in the thing because there's a lot of words in there that don't,
Don't what? That don't what?
It just doesn't resonate exactly with when you read it. It doesn't seem, like one of the questions that was in everything, does this fit, does it stand out? And it doesn't, because everybody says it's like, there's no difference.
So you're also raising a different point.
The lowest score on the answering questions for each question was the last one, which is how this differs. How does it make Richemont different than the others?
Yes.
I was consistently, it doesn't, or,
Not so
much.
And to be clear, I think that's also not a very fair bill, right? Is it distinctive enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can we own it? But you're also raising something which I want to also clarify, is how consistent is it with how we feel where we are now, right? And I think, frankly, this type of vision or manifesto, whichever we call it, has to be ambitious. So, we need to. We don't want to be just what we are now. We want to be, something better, something richer, something more interesting.
And that's where I think the manifesto should also be clear on what's important to us, because what's important to us and versus what we've been able to accomplish or where we are two different things, right?
Exactly.
Things can be important to us that we haven't done yet, right?
Yes.
So I think it should be forward-looking, because we can always talk about what's important to us because we're aspiring to get there, right?
Yes.
I think that's important for people to take away.
So I take the points, right? But my question again, and we are going to go into the details right now, but the question is, despite the verbiage, in terms of ideas, are you in agreement with the content as a goal? Are you in agreement with the ideas as a goal, despite the verbiage and the tone that might not be right?
The concept, not the content.
Yeah.
Necessarily.
And how is this going to manifest itself? What is this going to manifest itself in? Is it going to be a mission statement, or is it where is this going?
Okay, and you also need to build that clarity to have that.
Yeah, where is it going? Because we're talking about something where we don't really have the context of where it's going.
Yes.
Because I think if we knew what we were trying to solve for, it'd be a little bit easier to talk about what we think.
I mean, what I know is that this should, once the next steps are accomplished, this should be communicated internally and externally. Period. That should be your internal vision and alignment.
But so it should be based on our strengths and really what we are today as a base, I would say, because if we start with all the values that all the groups are using today, what is the point? We don't own any of these things, We are talking about future future is environment, we are digital, we are not the best, etc. We can take every point, everybody's on it.
Okay.
And even doing better, or, yeah.
Yeah,
so-
I would even remove technology from the equation, because technology, I think someone said it, is merely an enabler of building a great client experience, right? We don't have to talk about how we get there, that's important to us, right?
We're not innovators on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
excuse my interruption, but can we go, paragraph per paragraph? Because I really want to have clarity on your issues or concerns, but also listen to the positive comments that you have. So if we take the first one, we think beyond today, our heritage helps us write our future. Everything we do is to expand on our maison, history, and savoir-faire, not at the expense of it. We do things because we believe they're right, not because they're seen to be. Our ethics, our integrity, our words is more precious than anything we can create. Tell me, let's start with the yellows. What are the interesting words or ideas, aspects of this topic?
Right or future?
Yes.
I like the idea, we create our future.
Yes.
I don't like any other word in that.
Okay. Fair enough. Who else?
I mean, not to disagree with Darren, but I always like when we talk about that we believe in having integrity and ethics is important to who we are. It's just, it always speaks to me, it's a table stake for any company to have good ethics and integrity in how we operate.
Gotcha. More. More yellows, more positive comments.
Heritage.
Heritage. Yeah.
We do things because we believe they are right, not because they are seen to be.
Okay. Tell me more about that. What do you mean?
I mean, it resonates with me, first of all, when I think about some things for Cartier at minimum, the Cartier Foundation, the charitable one, or the Foundation for Art, they don't talk about it. They do it just because they want to do it. They don't use it commercially speaking. So it resonates with me when we see that.
Okay.
Yeah, Notre Dame burns down, and LVMH and Kering and everyone else comes out and says, we're going to donate X number of dollars
And they
to
pound their
rebuild
chest
this
over it,
beautiful landmark, and our response was, yes, we're going to donate dollars, but we're not going to tell anyone that we did.
Yeah.
And to the average Joe, that response is, I guess Richemont didn't contribute to the rebuild.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, we are investing in the craftsmanship in Europe, like the foundation to support the young people.
Yeah.
Imagine maybe another way of putting it. I mean, because we do the same, right? And the point is, we're not here to brag from a commercial standpoint what it's going to bring us, but it's we're leaving a legacy. And that's